Namaskar and pleasant morning to every one of you. I'm extremely happy to be a part of the very important, historically important event called the Triennial and Third International Conference with the theme of Women in Science and Technology Soaring on the Wings of Change, which is organized by the Indian Women Scientists Association of Mumbai. And I would first start like this. I'm extremely sorry because I plan to be there with all of you physically on this particular day, but due to my pressing preoccupation, I'm not able to do so. But in my view, I think you are all the most privileged and most, I would say, beneficiaries of this particular program. Friends, we are now living in a particular era wherein women are getting celebrated and women in science are getting celebrated in a totally different way. And I would say now the amount of celebration that we are getting or the kind of recognition that we are getting for our contribution in science and technology is amazing, wonderful, and unassuming also. So when this country as well as the entire globe is giving this kind of a new reception for women in science and technology, what and all we can do, I think that should be the thought for the day. And I'm sure this particular event is giving a perfect platform to discuss, to brainstorm, to argue, and finally to come up with some good amount of ideas by means of which I think this generation and the next generation of women in science, technology, and innovation, we will be in a better position to do justice, not only for the upliftment of the country, but also for the upliftment of the globe as a whole. So in this view, anyway, this is time for us to really think about what are the inherent talents and strengths which are embedded in women. So once upon a time, there were few positions wherein people used to say that these positions are meant for women. For example, teaching. So even today in nursery and in primary school, I think women teachers are only getting more than enough employment. Because women, we, by inherent nature, we have the tolerance to deal with the kids, and our emotional quotient also matches with the kids' expectation, and therefore always female teachers in primary school and pre-primary school, I think it is a wonderful job opportunities. Similarly, nursing. So female nurses, even though we have male nursing assistant called MNA, FNA, female nursing assistant is always the most celebrated ones. And we will be in a position to really talk to and also handle the patients with more than enough tolerance. So teaching is meant for female, nursing is also meant for female, but now the situation is changing. Even though here and there few leaders were there in other areas also, these days now we are coming across two very popular technologies, women drivers. Whether it is a three-wheeler, meaning is auto rickshaw drivers, or four-wheeler drivers. So many vehicles are getting driven by female drivers, and therefore these days female drivers are becoming very popular. Similarly, another position which is called post woman. Once upon a time, we were never, when I was a child and all, there was only one terminology called postman. But now we have postman as well as post woman. Because many places, this postal department, they have also recruited more than enough female, and therefore now this post woman is a very common technology. And when all these things are happening as changes, I think Government of India also has come up with a number of new changes, remarkable changes, whether it is army or defense. I think here and all the teams are also being headed by female, and that we can see even during the Independence Day parade as well as the Republic Day parade also. So these are the very recent developments, recent advancements, and therefore no longer we should really make the younger generation to think about the earlier set of people like Sarojini Naidu or Lakshmi Sagal or Kalpana Chawla or P.T. Usha or Mother Teresa. Why? Because the moment you start talking about somebody of maybe a century back or maybe few decades back, maybe this generation may consider it as a story because they have not seen them. You are only making them to listen to, and for sometimes it will be very hard for them to listen that once upon a time they were doing all these things means you cannot expect the child to show any kind of an excitation because these things are becoming popular and many times it is becoming so common also, and therefore I think this is high time we can start showing them living examples, live examples, and therefore we will be able to get them motivated and encouraged for different areas. Now, coming to the contribution of women in science, technology, and innovation, even today people used to say that in the 80 years of the history of CSIR, Kalaiselvi is the first Director General, women Director General, and therefore people used to say that you have broken the glass ceiling. I think no longer this word is going to exist. Why? Because once upon a time we were talking about the leaky pipes concept. What is this leaky pipe concept? It is very simple. In the primary school, more number of girl children are getting educated. When it comes to high school, higher secondary school, and college at the undergraduate level, you can just witness more number of female children are getting themselves educated. But when it comes to post graduation, the number is getting reduced drastically because the moment you finish your school studies and your undergraduate studies, most of the times women are getting trapped into the family life in the name of marriage. And therefore, number of female students taking up higher education like post graduation, it is getting reduced. But even after post graduation, how many female students are capable of immediately taking up job and how they are able to manage both office as well as the home equally, which we call it as work-life balance. Whether this country is having any specific arrangement in the system itself by means of which the female children or the female students, they are given an opportunity to get to know what is meant by work-life balance, how to manage office and also the home parallelly without giving any kind of a compromise. So I think all these points, I think we need to give more than enough emphasis even at this point of time, because even now there is no system in place through which you can educate a girl child, through which you can educate a postgraduate student, how best she can manage both the house or the family as well as her office without giving any kind of a compromise. So this is one requirement I feel that which is essential and which is the need of the hour, even considering the kind of developments that the country as well as the globe has seen as on date. Now, after post-graduation, again, how many female postgraduates are able to take up research as their career? Because when you just start your research career, again, it is not a 1 year story, it is not a 2 year story, it is going to be a 4 year or a 5 year or even many times it's a 6 year story. Therefore, how long you will be able to manage this kind of managing the family as well as managing your research, or if at all the girl is not getting married, again, the kind of time that she is going to spend before she enters into the family life. So this research period is again a very, very challenging period. She needs a lot of emotional balance. She needs a lot of moral support. She needs a lot of support, not only from the first layer, she requires a lot of support from the second level assistance also. Therefore, the kind of support system that is required for a female to shine as a PhD scholar is really, really challenging even today. Therefore, do we have any arrangement in the system? I think this is the time that we have to think about. Can we think about some new ideas? Can we come up with some kind of an arrangement by means of which we can ensure that, yes, research is one area which is, even though it is full of challenges, we are offering you these many, I would say, comfort zones by means of which this particular area could be very easily traveled and surpassed by you. So are we in a position to give that kind of an assurance as on date? Not fully. Therefore, I think we have to think about these comfort zones which are to be offered to female researchers, I think, through such forums. Now, after finishing this PhD, now she is entering into the job or office, maybe as a full-time employer. So again, she is all the time, one more parallel line that is traveling with her is her family. So family consists of spouse, then again child or children, and therefore now her responsibility is getting increased multifold. Therefore, again, what are the various possible support systems that could be offered to her? I'm not denying now number of comfort zones are already available, but my question is whether this is enough for them. For example, age relaxation is there for female, and even for female employees in many organizations, they are giving some kind of an arrangement in the form of a creche, wherein they can just leave the children of maybe 2 year or under 2 years also. So this is how some kind of internal arrangements are made available in some organizations, and therefore it is available in a particular ratio. But I think this should be made as a totally available facility everywhere. And therefore, I think if we do so, if we succeed in doing so, we may be able to increase the number of women who are going up to research and who are coming up as successful employees after their education. Now, again, people, the moment you just make a woman to occupy the employment, I think thereafter, I think she will take care of herself, and she will again take and put in her fullest contribution, fullest efforts, and she will reach to the level of leaders. So right at this point of time, maybe as on date, women leaders in different departments, areas, and ministries may be less, but it is comparatively higher and larger than the ester years. And when it is to be compared with the upcoming or the future scenario, definitely future is going to have a lot more female leaders. Why? Because now itself, the female children, they are growing up with a lot of emotional balance, the kind of maturity, the thought process, maturity in thought process, maturity in conducting themselves, maturity in managing the situation. So all these things are now very much encouraging, and it is very much obviously visible with respect to the new generation, or I would say the current young generation. Therefore, when they are growing up, when they grow up as next generation leaders, I think they will have more maturity. But then, if at all we give the support system also, so the inherent maturity and the offered comfort zones, this particular combination will help in a major way, by means of which, not only in India, I think across the globe, women leaders are going to really dominate the world in very many important areas and administrative roles. But to do so, I think now itself, every country, without an exception of India, we are having number of programs. For example, if at all a female scholar is not able to continue with her research program, but still she is interested to continue with her research studies, I think we have programs like WOSA A, WOSA B, WOSA C, like very many programs are there. And apart from that, we from CSIR, because I'm from the family of Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, wherein we recently launched a special program called CSIR Aspire. Meaning is, it is fully dedicated to only women researchers. Project proposals will be received only from female researchers, and female researchers will be given research grant, and they will be encouraged to take up research irrespective of their earlier break or mid-career break or whatever. So this is how not only CSIR, DST, DBT, and other ministries are also coming up with a number of new initiatives. I think putting together all these initiatives, women in science, technology, and innovation is really, really now very appreciable these days. And when we are showing this kind of an improvement, platforms like this international conferences, wherein we will be having more than enough opportunities to meet with women leaders, to discuss with, and to get their suggestions, advice, mentorship, and direction, by means of which I think that younger generation, the scope for you to develop your strengths as well as to showcase your capabilities is more. And in my perception and from my point of view, this particular international conference is one of the very, very greatest opportunities which is being offered to the Indian female researchers. And I think you as a participant should really make use of this opportunity, and you should always be an example to the next generation also by way of showcasing your talents. So with these few words, one more time, I say that no time India is a follower of any great, I would say, technology or accomplishment or achievement, because when the whole world, the data says that when you just compare the gender parity or the ratio of male and female who are shining in the field of science, technology, and innovation, it is somewhere lying between 20 to 25 only. And in India, it is somewhere around 30. And similarly, even in CSIR system also, if you just compare the number of female research scholars, I think it is really going up and up day by day. And from 32% now it is going up to 36, and it is slowly reaching more than 40% also in the days. And therefore, using this particular era, wherein we are getting more than enough opportunities, we are getting more than enough recognition. Now the society is able to understand what is our requirement. We should encash all these opportunities. You as a responsible women researcher, or you as a responsible female student, you should encash all the opportunities, and you should really make use of these opportunities for your development, as well as you should set an example, and you should make a chain of other number of other female research scholars also, and we should make this as a great silent revolutionary movement, by means of which we, the women researchers, we should have always a focused thought. We should put in our fullest effort. We should give our 200% best efforts, and we should make use of the available opportunities. Let us not put the blame on A is not available, B is not available, C is not available. It is not the way one can develop. Within the available facilities, within the given circumstances, how best I can shine, how best I can do justice. If we start thinking in this direction, and if we make use of platforms of this international conference and the discussions for that particular direction, I think these are not so far off. Indian women will rock in the global scenario also, and across the globe, women in science, technology, and innovation, we are going to create a new history, and the history is going to be full of accomplishments. I look forward that particular day, wherein the contribution from you and me should also be a portion of it. And I'm sure, and I'm 100% sure, that this particular event will also give you more than enough opportunities to think and focus your attempts through that direction. With these few words, one more time, my apologies for not being able to be with you and spend the day with all of you during the entire proceedings, and my best wishes for the success of this event. Thank you so very much. Namaskar.